Hello guys out there, it's another exciting edition of your most exciting sports show right here, Bounce Sports. My name is Israel Ojoko and my co-presenter is right here with me, Babatunde Eludini. Tunde, how are you doing today?
Hello football fans and sports fans in the world.
And of course, Collins Udeme, our great analyst, is right here. Collins, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Israel. It's nice to be here. My job now come now.
Correct guy. Okay, so today we'll be looking at exciting topic. We'll be looking at the Nigeria Professional Football League. We'll be looking at the EPL. We'll be looking at the Players Award. Handed recently by FIFA. Cristiano Ronaldo is the best player of the year right now. He beat Messi to that. We'll discuss more of this and lots more after this time out. Welcome back, guys. So we're going straight into the discussion of the day. Cristiano Ronaldo, beats Lionel Messi to the best footballer award of the year. Collins Udeme, what do you make of this?
Are you surprised?
Well, maybe not. I'm not. Actually, I'm not.
Okay. I think for anybody who's been following football in the last couple of months, if you look at, I think the FIFA Best Award takes into consideration the performances of the players over last season, and there's no doubt about it. Ronaldo was outstanding. 5 years, they brought their 5 years run of not winning the league, the La Liga, to an end, and it was very instrumental. 25 goals, not bad, and defending the Champions League in the history of the Champions League, it's never happened. So I think Messi did well, Neymar did well. They are outstanding players, but when you look at the achievements that, if you look at what Ronaldo brought to the party, for Real Madrid, it was immense, it was huge. So for me, I think it was deserved.
Lionel Messi, was it a bad one for him not to win it this time around?
I don't think it's a bad one. Of course, he has had his own fair share of the award. If you want to take it from the best FIFA awards,
of the awards, no.
Best FIFA Awards, this is the second edition and it's just been Ronaldo all through. For Lionel Messi, I think you will say that he gets to a point where a player gets to and trophies like this don't count anymore. He knows he's the best. So whether you give him an award or you don't give him any award, is people that are second fiddle that are more concerned about.
Yeah. Are you saying Ronaldo is not used to an award? This is 5-5.
No.
He has equaled Ronaldo's and Messi's award too.
No, see, this is best FIFA football award. This is supposed to be a new award entirely, unless you want to call it as maybe an offshoot of the Ballon d'Or, which Messi already has 5 and Ronaldo with 3. But when we take these two, it makes it 5-5. The two players, they are good, and it's just not possible for two people to win the award at the same time. It might always go to one person, even if it's 49 votes to 50 votes. One person has unless they get to a point where they share the awards into 2 or even into 3, and everybody have a piece of the award. So for Ronaldo, we can say congratulations, and for Lionel Messi, he should just continue doing the good works he's doing. Of course, they're helping Barcelona and helping Argentina.
I think the likes of Messi and Neymar already knew that. They were heading to London just for the sake of being there, because if you look at their achievements, in the last season, look at what he did at the Champions League final. It was phenomenal. Ronaldo comes to the party when Real Madrid needs them. He gives his more than 100%. At this age, if you look at the way he's playing, you can't. But I think this is last, personally.
Well, okay, Chris. Zinedine Zidane won the best coach award. Tunde, what do you make of this? Did he deserve it?
Obviously, I have no second thought about that. Looking at the 3 coaches shortlisted, that's Massimiliano Allegri and Antonio Conte. Of course, Zidane has done the unthinkable. Over the years, no coach has been able to help a team to successfully defend the Champions League title, and that he did in style. And of course, the La Liga drought for Real Madrid, he ended it in style. Many people were saying he's a lucky coach, but I think it goes beyond luck. He has his ways around. He has been there before as a player, so I think that helps him a lot in getting the best out of his players, and it's working out well for him. So congratulations to Sudan. He deserves the award, and I doubt if anybody would fault his choice as the best coach for the year.
Collins, let's come home a bit. No African player made the top 11. I mean,
come on, man. African player.
What do you mean?
Come on, man.
What do you mean? We have Sadio Mane, we have Aubameyang, we have Victor Moses, and there are so much out there.
Please put these names that you've just mentioned without doubt. All right, they're good players. They've done well for their clubs. But if you look at the players that were paraded in the FIFA Best 11, you can't fault that team. All right, even though there are some names there, somebody like Iniesta, I would say, why was he on the team? Toni Kroos. But I think when you talk about African players, man, I don't think there's anybody, from the African continent who did exceptionally well to deserve a place in the starting 11. Then he was talking about, let me digress a bit, Zidane. A lot of people said he was lucky. I was one of those that, since he took over, I've been looking at him, I'm like, I hope this is not another Arsene Wenger. Because he doesn't like spending money. He's at a club where there's money to be spent. And
when you say spend money, what does he need in Real Madrid?
Well,
all the players are good.
Real Madrid, no, don't say all the players are good.
They can be better.
Before Zidane came in, all right, the same set of players that Benitez was struggling to get results with, all right, he turned things around. Now, the end of the season, don't forget they lost the La Liga by just 1 point, all right. So it means if they are taking up the team maybe a game before January, he probably would have beaten Barcelona to it. Now, that's not the point. When the season ended, people were worried. He wasn't buying. Nobody was coming in. You remember? I'm sure you're very conversant with that story. And then I had issues with, okay, how is he going to cope? But he brought players from the young players who were looking for opportunities. You saw what he's been able to do with Asensio, the likes of Asensio, the likes of Vasquez, and he's been able to blend experience with youth, which goes to show that he's not a lucky coach. He's got his own.
Collins said no African player deserves to be in the top 11. Do you agree with that?
Well, I will have to toe the line of Austin JJ Okocha, who is one of the panelists, who was on the panel of those that shortlisted these players. He made one assertion which I tend to buy, though not wholeheartedly. If you look at the average African player, the kind of baggage they carry, most of these guys abroad don't. When you talk about the environment most of these guys come from, they have to do extra to be at the level they are. If Ronaldo was from Nigeria, for example, and he thinks about the family issues he has, he thinks about this before he goes to training. Of course, it's still, because he has it in him, he's going to do well. But that, in a way, may have a toll on his overall game. Then when you talk about publicity and media stunts, the African players don't enjoy as much as these guys do. Look at Chakushe in maybe like 2 games that he played. Yeah, he has done good, but look at the media hype that has come with that. You have to do ×3 of that as an African player before you can get such hype. So I think all those things come to play, and once you start hyping this player in the face of fans, FIFA too buys it, the voters buy it, and before you know it, it counts in who votes into the 11.
Okay, there are jobs to do for CAF. There are works to do for each country's FA to look into grassroots football in their various countries in the continent of Africa. And away from the FIFA Awards, Super Eagles, we have qualified. Okay, we. Nigeria has qualified for the 2018 FIFA World Cup, and with 1 game to spare against Algeria. But before then, after the game, there will be a friendly against Argentina. Collins, okay, let me go to Tunde first. Tunde, is that friendly a well-deserved one?
Of course, when you go to the World Cup, you should be ready to face the best teams, and which is Argentina is now among the best teams. So I think
they struggle to qualify.
Yeah, it happens. It was just a bad patch, and that it shows in them when they had to deliver, they did it in style. And of course, they even finished third, not even fourth.
Messi, please note.
Well, he's an Argentina at the last check. I don't think he's from Nigeria. So, like you said, the game for me I didn't know Nigeria could tie up such high-profile friendly this early. And when you look at what the Argentina coach said on why they picked Nigeria, it shows that even if we don't regard ourselves so much high, the world outside there do. When they reckon with our style of play, they reckon with the talents that are in our team. So facing the South Americans at this point, I think is a welcome development that would actually show us how ready we are going forward. Of course, you've seen some names. This is a sure bet for Russia. This is that. By the time you line them out against a team like Argentina and you see how they fare, then you know that, okay, you know how much work still left to be done going to Russia.
Collins, the game will be played in Krasnodar in Russia, the same place where the World Cup will be played next year. Is that a good venue?
It is. Our players, I think it's even one of the countries that we should consider when it comes to camping. So that the players will begin to acclimatize with the weather. And the friendly, I think, is... I listened to an interview, by... I've forgotten his name. I'm trying to remember his name now. The guy who does this, the agent for our international games. Okay. I listened to the interview he gave, and he talked about how our game has transformed. Right? That, look, a typical African side is known for physical football, but under Jonathan Raw, we still have that little bit of physicality, but there's this fluidity and dynamism to the way we play these days, because a lot of people have been talking about the inclusion of NPFL players in the team, and but trust me, if you look at the way we're playing now, it's pretty much different from what it used to be 3-4 years ago. Now there's so much. Most of the guys in the team now are very technical. They know how to read the game. They understand. They're trying to understand each other. So our game has changed. Now the agent said, "Look, this is because the Argentina friendly is because we have moved from the era of just physical football to the era of where we begin to play attractive football that other countries want to play us." He categorically said, "Look, Nigeria right now, every team in the world wants to play Nigeria." So it's just most teams. There's the England friendly on the pipeline. Depending on what the draw says. So it's been a while we've had grade A friendlies like that. And when NFF keep complaining, we don't have money. These are the kind of games that, if Nigeria is playing Argentina and we're parading our own Mikel Obi, Alexi Wobi and the rest, and then they are bringing their own Aguero and Lionel Messi, you know what that translates to when it comes to money. That means money for NFF. So grade A friendlies will always do us a whole lot of good, and I think we need it going to the World Cup.
Few days before that friendly, there will be a game against Algeria. Tunde, how should Ghanaians Raw approach that game? Should we just go and have fun because the Super Eagles has already qualified, or should he go there and play competitive football?
I think he has already said how he's going to approach the game. He's going to approach it competitively. This feeling of going throughout the qualifiers without losing a game is something that generations to come would hear about, and he's really looking to do that. Of course, we had 3 wins and a draw. So for him, he doesn't want to lose that game. And I think I told that line. It does well for your confidence that going to the World Cup, we did not lose any game. We beat Algeria home and away. Such does so much for the psyche of players.
And he still fears in your opponents too.
Exactly. And as we have it now, we have players that have not really been given a chance to prove their worth. This is a chance for them. For example, the likes of Antonio Wakeme, who actually scored for his team recently. If he's given a chance to play in the attack, I'm sure he would want to go out and show that these guys that are playing ahead of me, I have what it takes to take their shirt. Olaino is expected to have his full debut in that game. Of course, he will want to show that Ederson is old school. I think I deserve this place more. So when you have players and scenarios like that of players coming in to show their worth, I think we have a good game in Nigeria. And like Raw wants it. I don't see us losing that game. At least a draw will be a draw. Should be the worst result we will get against Nigeria.
You are still watching Bounce Sports. The show returns after this break. We'll be looking at the NPFL, and more other topics. Stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. It's still Bounce Sports, and we go straight to the Nigeria Professional Football League. The season has ended. When will the new season start? Babatunde Eludini.
Well, for now, there's no official word on that, but the LMC said they want to get this started as quick as possible. The team will be going for the CHAN tournament, and they want to play as many games they can before the tournament starts in Morocco. So far, so good. The teams are already beginning their preseason. We have Lobby Stars already in Ijebu-Ode, where they are camped for the preseason. Of course, the preseason Gold Cup is also coming up, where we have teams like Lobby Stars, MFM, Sunshine Stars. We'll be jostling for honors. Of course, this is to put them in good light for the upcoming season. You saw how the season ended. The relegation was to the wire. So also was the league title itself. It had to be decided on the last day. MFM was in it. Plateau United was in it. We had to wait till the last day before we knew the champion. So expect another competitive NPFL season. So we can keep our fingers crossed and see what is happening. But before now, teams are ready. The transfers are already going on. Of course,
is it transfer? Is that transfer in NPFL or Saka?
Yeah, of course.
So who has moved? For how much? For how long? What's the contract?
The players are moving already, and of course many more will move in the days ahead. Of course, we had Imama. Now he has moved over to El Academy as the new coach, and from what we hear, he's supposed to be the highest paid Nigerian coach in the league at the moment.
With a car gift.
Well, that's fantastic.
It's not a gift.
So
we hear.
And we have Plateau United also. The teams going to the continent. They're already shopping for quality legs that would help their cause. Of course, we don't want teams that would go and they won't even get to the group stage, much more going to the maybe semi-final. So the business have started. Players being bought and players being sold. For Shooting Stars, they had to sack their coach Fatai Amo after they've gone back on relegation. And though they've done that, people still ask the question: is Fatai Amo actually the problem with Shooting Stars? People look at the management, they look at the government itself, how much of funds was made available to the teams compared to their competitors. So until all these things are put in proper perspective, I don't want to believe that Shooting Stars will stay in the National League for so long than they bargained for.
Collins, I won't bug you with NPFL. Let's go to the EPL.
Why would you bug me with the NPFL?
Well, I know you're a players manager, so I mean let's not go there.
I love MFL.
So Manchester United lost to Huddersfield after their goalless draw with Liverpool, and of course they will be meeting Tottenham in their next fixture.
Man U before the Liverpool game were title favourites. You remember, people were already thinking they were good enough for the title. And then after the Liverpool game, we saw that there were lapses in the Man U side that could be exploited by other teams. Alright, and I would say they were lucky to get away to leave Anfield without a defeat. Trust me. And then after that, Huddersfield, who saw it coming? Nobody. Even everybody thought it was just going to be one of those easy games. But trust me, I think Mourinho now he has to now sit down and begin to look at.
He has been humbled.
His strategy, and come up with. I mean, you can't have all those world-class players in your team and not get results against a Huddersfield side. I know football is the truth about football is sometimes it could really go bad. Alright, maybe it was just one of those days, but United have not really convinced me this season that okay, they are title contenders. Yes, Man City is doing well. Remember how they started last season? 10 straight games, no draw, no defeats. They're on a winning streak, and then all of a sudden their form dipped. But Tottenham have been outstanding. They have a good coach. I like the way he goes about his business. And you can't really look at the Tottenham side and say, apart from a Hurricane, they play as a unit. I think that's what's working for them. Even Kane, who is like the star of the team, he still works for the team. You know, you saw the way they ripped Liverpool apart, you know, at Wembley. Before the game, I felt, look, Wembley is a neutral ground. You know, Liverpool will just go there and get the job done. But unfortunately, they're beginning to make Wembley a fortress. And the way they are going about it, I think this is another game United will really have to sit down, and this is one of the toughest game of the season that will determine if they are truly title contenders or not. One of the most silly thing I ever heard, you know, come out of Wenger was when he said Ozil is back at his best, and I'm like, what is he saying? We all knew that the Arsenal team going to Goodison Park was good enough to beat Everton because of their form. You know, for whatever reason, Koeman spent, I think, 150 million. You know, over the summer, he just kept buying and buying and buying. He's not been able to put together a solid team, you know, to give him results. And we knew the sack was coming. It's not about the Arsenal game. Even if he was playing Crystal Palace that weekend, he probably would have lost and he would be fired. So, Arsenal going there to win 5-2, it still doesn't say anything about the credentials of Arsenal as a title contender. Because if you ask me, if you look at that Arsenal side, I keep saying it, look, there's a lot of work to be done. Ozil, Sanchez are probably leaving at the end of the season. You know, once it's January, once the new year turns in, once the transfer window opens in winter, they are free agents. Alright, they're free to talk to other clubs. Now, there's a lot of problems in Arsenal. You sell a certain Gabriel Paulista, and then you didn't buy no central defender. So, going to Swansea, it's another big test. Swansea are beginning to get it right. Don't forget, they didn't start well. They've had a sloppy start. But the way they've been playing and the form of Tammy Abraham, you know, the prospective Super Eagles star.
Yeah, prospective.
Yeah. He's been fantastic for them, and I think going to Swansea is going to be another test. But you can't get it. You can't always place your bet on Arsenal. Trust me, Israel. You can't. Okay. They play well today, and then tomorrow is a total different game.
That will be all for the show today. Thanks for watching Bounce Sport today. Batunde Ludini. Thanks for your contributions. Colin Sudeme, it's nice having you here today. We hope to see you next time. Okay, my name is Israel Ojoko. Until next time, when Bounce Sports come to your way, cheers.